All right, guys, we have a special guest. We have Amanda McGrath from Thermoworks. And what does she do? Well, she has a title, but it's basically a little bit of everything. Everything that you have at Thermoworks, she's had her hand in, from development to launch to whatever. Testing, the whole entire life of its existence. Amanda McGrath, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing great, man.
Good.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, man.
Yes. Sorry. Anyway, so what do you do at Thermoworks exactly? I know that I had a little bit of a lot of stuff, but what is exactly your job title?
So I am technical product manager. I moved into that in January of this year. I actually started in tech support and did that for about 12 years, managed that department. And before that, I did billing and shipping back in the warehouse. So I've been there for a very long time. I know the ins and outs of the entire company. And so now I'm in product development, where I get to basically do the fun stuff. We get to come up with the new products and test them and make sure they do what we want them to do.
Awesome.
Nice.
And so we have a bunch of products here that we're going to talk about and go through and walk through all the products. We would like to have you guys kind of go through everything that Thermoworks offers, because we talk about Thermoworks a lot. We are Thermoworks like fangirls over here.
Something like that.
Yeah. You know what? If you're listening, you just laughed at that. And you're like, hey, try going into Thermoworks. Go ahead and see what happens. See how many houses you've just sold to buy whatever you need to do. How many truckloads of stuff you've just walked out with. And all you wanted to do was look.
Yeah.
That just means we're doing it right.
That's right. Okay. So let's talk about some products. Every single person on the whole planet has a Thermopin. And if you don't, you're not doing it right. I did say on this episode or this podcast before that the Thermopin is probably the most important part of what you use as a cook. We just talked to Kyle from You're Behind Barbecue on our last podcast, and he said his number one thing is a Thermopin. Malcolm Reed, who you guys all know from How to Barbecue Right, ask him, watch his podcast, listen to his podcast. He says his number one thing is a Thermopin. Thomas Keller, I was watching Masterclass. He has a Thermopin. That's what he uses. He suggests that. I mean, you cannot get away with it, and there's a reason for it. So let's talk about the Thermopin for a second. What makes it so special?
The way it is designed. So from top to bottom, it was completely engineered. They are assembled by hand in the United Kingdom. They are as fast as we can make it, and it's the best technology you can find. So you're going to get fast and accurate results, repeatable every time. It's an actual temperature. We don't use an algorithm to get you to your final temperature. We don't project where you're going to be. It is the actual temperature where that sensor is.
Nice. So what's the difference between the Thermopin Classic and the MK4?
The Thermoplank?
Yeah, the Thermoplank.
Is that where the pirates and
yes, exactly, dude.
You're going to walk the Thermoplank. And then you'll get your temperature right and you'll come back.
Yes.
And you are positive for
Damn
COVID-19.
you, Rusty. All right, let's try that again.
So the main difference between the Classic and the Thermopin Mark IV is the bells and whistles. The technology is the same. It's the same response time, same accuracy, same electronics on the inside, but the Mark IV has the rotating display, the backlight, the sleep-wake cycle so that you can put it down. When you pick it back up, it wakes up. You don't have to mess with it. It basically thinks for you.
Nice.
What the MK? What does it stand for? Because I was today years old when I found that out.
Yeah.
What's it? The MK? What does it stand for?
It's the Thermopin Mark IV.
Mark
is how it is pronounced.
We learned something new today.
There you go. I didn't know that.
See, this is why we had her on the show, because we're saying everything wrong.
Just here to help.
See, and that's the thing is we had.
Okay, there's one right here.
Yeah, we got a really cool one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to steal it here.
We got a lot of stuff.
I do have a lot of
stuff.
stuff.
So the thing is that we started our barbecue team, and I had Thermopins because I used to work in restaurants. And I had a really hard time because you always had to use your therm all the time. Biotherm is what we used to call them. I don't know if that's a technical term, but that's the restaurant term. So deal with it.
No, I've heard it before. Many times.
It's a biotherm,
It's
okay?
a biotherm.
Whether that's right or wrong is completely irrelevant.
It's
People
wrong.
in the restaurant know what we're talking about. But mine would always break. I would literally go through one every other month. And then someone gave me, as a gift, Thermopin. And it wasn't the MK4. It wasn't the Mark IV. It was just a regular Thermopin, and that whole thing changed my whole life, and then my entire relationship with Thermoworks was born because it was so reliable. I still have it to this day. That was 5 years ago. Is that right? About that, right when it came out. When did they come out?
The Classic came out in 2009.
Is about then, a little after then. And so,
great math.
I still have it today. It still works great. I use the Mark IV now. So, but I still have that old one. It still works great. Everything's fine. But the thing is that so when I started our barbecue team, they would come and go, oh, I got this X, whatever, Thermopin. And I'm like, no, it's not going to work. Oh, it's the same thing. It's not. Trust me, it's going to break. Nah. Guess what? Broke. Literally in the middle of a competition, stopped working because it dropped on the floor and it's done. So, and it's cool because these Thermopins are amazingly built. But if it breaks, what do you guys do for people?
We also have a tech support group. So if it breaks, we can fix it. We have a flat rate repair service for all of them. They all have a 2-year warranty. So if it's within that warranty, we'll evaluate it for a warranty issue. If that's found, then we'll repair or replace it at no charge. If a non-warranty issue is found because you left it in the smoker, left it on the smoker, put it through the dishwasher, accidents happen, then we do have that flat rate repair service. So just give us a call and send it in. We can fix them. We can fix all of them.
Yeah, and I've hadn't had mine fixed yet, but you guys have been really gracious about fixing people I knows. And I've had to call in one time for an issue. It was really easy to fix. Everything's easily fixed. But and I don't recommend this, and I'm sure Amanda's going to go, don't say that. But my dots, my SmokeX, my Thermopin have been left outside for days, and they still work, and they still tick, and they still crush it. So I just want to talk about the Thermopin for a minute, because I know a lot of people out there have one already, but if you don't, man, I don't know what you're waiting for. You guys have sales all the time to get them.
We do. We also have our open box sale that we have once or twice a year, where you can get them at a very good discount.
Right. You have to have it. I don't even know what I would do without mine.
It's a must.
Don't even know.
We have also just come out with a trade-in program.
Oh.
So if you have an older one that is out of warranty and you just want to buy a new Mark IV, we can give you a special price on that too. You just have to call our tech support team.
By the way, everyone who goes through a competition with me, I will be calling them Mark IVs from now on.
Please
deal
correct
with it.
everyone.
Yes, deal with it. Because I'm a hipster like that. Oh, yes. I was talking to Amanda McGrath and she told me it was a Mark IV. That's why I called it the Mark IV. You wouldn't know her. So let's talk about some more products.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Anthony. You got all the...
Well, should we just start at the top of the pile?
Yeah, let's do it.
There's an invention right here that I never knew existed that will save my ass.
It's a dog walker.
No, this is badass. I've never seen this before.
Are not out yet.
Oh.
They will be released within the next 60 days or so.
Cool. Oh.
But it is basically a probe spool. So, you have probes.
Yes.
You have cables everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh,
and you can't keep them wrapped. You can't keep it. Yep. So these are magnetic. They will, you can put them on the side of your smokers, but don't put them on the heat because they're rated up to 600 degrees. But we all know the outsides get much hotter than that.
Rusty, this is going to go perfect on the lid of the toolbox.
That is unreal.
Here, touch it.
Yeah, let me see it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, cool. It's like rubberized almost.
Yeah.
It's silicone. So it's the high temp silicone. It's the same silicone that we make all of our silicone products out of. So it's that rated up to 600 degrees.
Wow.
Will fit both Thermocouple and Pro Series probes.
Oh.
So basically any Thermoworks probe will fit in there.
I have just magnetized it to my microphone.
There you go. You're ready to go. You're ready to temp anything right now.
This is the coolest thing.
It is.
Of all times.
Oh,
Wow.
look at this.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Look how easy.
Oh.
He's like, I want to try it.
So what we're doing is she's putting it on the spool.
Yeah. You're going to have to watch a YouTube video on this one.
Very scientific.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so cool. And so, okay. So what happens is it's a little round thing. You put where the plug goes into your actual
meat.
No.
Probe
Into the
jack.
probe jack. And then you just kind of circle around it until you get to the end. And it just hangs on there.
This is genius.
Tucks
is this
on
your
the
invention?
It is one of the ones I was part of the team on.
Nice. Look at that. Oh.
It's cool.
Yeah.
This is really cool. That's cool. Wow.
There
Sorry,
you go.
guys. I'm going to geek out. You guys have to know this. Even if I don't know it, which is rare when it comes to Thermoworks, I'm going to total geek out. So don't worry about me. That's cool.
Yeah. We listened to people. We'd received quite a bit of feedback. We've seen some of the things that people were coming up with themselves, and we decided we could do that better.
So this will come out this podcast will come out in 2 weeks from now. So it'll be closer than that 60 days. So it'll be more about 40 days at that point, about a month away from when this podcast released. So be looking out for that because guys, these are cool. If you're anything like me, and if you're anything like Trevor Jager from Jager Q, if you're listening, Trevor, Salt City Drum Smokers, he is famous for having hundreds of these and probes and just hanging everywhere. So I think he's going to buy up probably. So you better get online and get him right now before Trevor does, because he'll buy him out.
Well, and it gives you the guideline. We tell you not to wrap the probes too tightly.
Shut up. You can stack them on each other.
Oh, yeah. They're magnetic.
What?
So they stick together. They stick to the sides of the smoker. Again, just don't take them over 600 degrees.
Hold on. If this works, I'm going to poop my pants. Okay, good. Because you guys don't want me to do that. All right, there we go.
We've gotten 4 to stick together and stay together.
Oh, cool.
But
just you've never tried it on a mic stand before.
I've never tried it on a mic stand before. Okay. That was new for me.
We have just helped Amanda discover that they don't stick to mic stands.
Yeah.
Not enough surface.
Not enough surface, exactly. That is really cool. I'm really excited about that. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
What's next?
Let's go at it. This is my favorite thing right here, dude.
You know what? This is my favorite thing too.
This is the thermo drop. I have it on my backpack. I know the temperature wherever I go. Wherever I go, I can go over there and look at my backpack right now, and I'll tell you the current temperature right now on the podcast.
It's hot, or I just don't know. I had a lot of brisket. So.
You're just in my presence.
I was going to say meat sweats, but
yeah. Okay, so Thermopop. Tell me about
Thermodrop.
Tell me about that. So where did that come from? What's the idea? What do you guys usually? What's that for? Like cars?
You know what? It's basically for anything. I just took a river trip down the Grand Canyon. So we floated down the Colorado River. I had one with me the entire time to tell me how cold the water was before I got in. It was 48 degrees. It was really cold. Made it harder to get in knowing the exact temperature.
Wait a second. You can put that in the water?
Yes, they are waterproof.
How deep?
How deep?
Not that deep.
Dip in to see how cold it is.
You can check the river.
We do actually verify the calibration with them in our liquid baths, but it is a quick dunk. So it is waterproof. We don't recommend you submerge them for long periods of time, but it will definitely survive a quick dunk in the freezing cold river.
Wow.
Yeah, when those came out, a lot of people I know bought them and they love them. Some people, like you said, put on their backpacks. I've seen them in cars.
Yes.
So you can see the temperature within the car. I always think it's weird because the temperature gauge on mine's up by the window, and I don't know how hot that is because the sun's beating down. I'd rather have it on my mirror, Yep. Kind of really see how hot it is, especially if you have dogs. Of course, you don't want to leave your dog in the hot car, but you want to know that kind of stuff.
If you look at the picture on the website of the Thermodrop, it is actually on a dog's leash.
Oh, cool.
That is my dog.
That's your dog?
Yes.
I don't like dogs right now, but they killed my chickens.
Well, I'm sorry for you.
Anyway, so moving on. So the Thermodrop.
Thermodrop. Yes, it is.
It looks like a teardrop.
It does. It is actually one of my favorites. It's one of the first products that after moving into the product development team that I got to take all the way through from start to finish. So this one has a special place in my heart.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
It is quaint. Maybe I'll have to get one of those.
We actually wrote operating instructions for it. You don't really need it. It is one button. You turn it on, you turn it off, you push it to the backlight, you push it again to do the min-max temperature so that you can track temperatures over time too.
What would be cool? Yeah, that's very cool. We have a food trailer now for competitions. And when you're doing your boxing, you want that temperature to be hotter. So that would be actually super nice to have inside there to know where you're doing, especially if you're someone who's super Dewey Decimal about stuff. And you're like, when I'm doing my boxing, I like to have it 78 degrees or 80 degrees. That would be very crucial, because that would help a ton. So you're like, oh, we're too cold. We need to get it up because last time, whatever. So perfect.
There you go.
A lot of things you can do that.
They're small enough. You can put them everywhere. We've got them. I mean, you can put them in a fridge. You can put them in a freezer. They go down to negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit.
Way cool.
So they're pretty much greenhouses. We have people that will use them in their greenhouses. So it's pretty universal. You can use it anywhere.
Nice.
Awesome.
There you go. There's another data point for your new book. For your hardcore carnivore data book.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I got that hardcore carnivore data book, and that would be very nice to have because it has temperature outside, so I can read that and then log it as I go. Because I did a brisket for 20 hours, and when I started, it was 78 degrees. But in the course, when I'm temping it in the morning, it's a different temperature, so it's easy to have that really dial that stuff in.
There you go.
That's actually really cool. What else do we have?
So I also have the Dash and the Dash Mini. These two both just came out.
Yes, I
earlier
haven't
this year.
seen these yet. I've been wanting to see these in person.
Basically, they're our newest instant read. So readings in the 3 to 4 seconds. It's got the reduced tip probe. So tiny holes when you're trying to take your temperatures, fast results, big display. The display rotates on its own.
Cool.
You can read the digits from across the room if needed, but it's also got the 2 probe sizes. So better for larger, better for smaller.
So this is the kind of stuff that I would have loved to have in the restaurant because I love the Thermopin, and in my chef jacket, I could put it in, but it would take up basically the whole pocket. Whereas this I could put in my sleeve pocket, which I prefer, you know, because I don't want my thermo, because that was the only problem I had is I had to put it there, and in my sleeve pocket, it wouldn't work. And some of them it would, but this would work perfectly for that. And I assume this is what that is mostly designed for.
Yes. Yep. It will definitely fit in a chef coat pocket on that sleeve. It also has a neck lanyard, so you can attach it to the top or the bottom. It will attach to the top of the thermometer or to the bottom of the probe cover.
And so this probe will bend.
Does not bend.
Okay. I thought that, that would have been really cool. You should think about that.
You know what? I will log that for later evaluation.
But this still wouldn't matter much when you're doing, when you're working the line. It doesn't make a difference. All you need something is you can pull out and put in back into a case, which it has. You can just pop it out, put it back into your coat, just like that when you're doing line checks and different things like that. So this is really cool too. Or just have in the kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, very much so. And a lot of people, when they are using it frequently, like to attach the probe cover to the lanyard and hang it around their neck. And then all they have to do is pull off the top of the thermometer, and then they keep the cover. The cover's not going to get lost because it's literally attached to their neck, and then they can just snap it back in and it will stay in place when they're done.
Super cool. Because that's neat, especially if you're a competition cook and you're using your Mark IV. Sorry. I give them a look every time I do it. It's my thing. And you take down competitions, because I've done that before, and then mine's boxed up, and I don't want to go get it. So I could have this just chilling in my my drawers.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
That's cool. I actually really like that. Man.
Yeah.
I thought I had a lot of, listen, I have a briefcase full of Thermoworks stuff. And I was thinking, what's Amanda going to bring? I don't already have so far everything.
She's 4 for 4 currently.
We come out with a lot of products, and we have a tool for everything. And this is just the barbecue gear. So we are a professional instrumentation company. So, obviously we're talking more food processing, barbecue related, but we actually have pH meters, and we have moisture meters, and we have high accuracy reference thermometers that are used in pharmaceuticals and cold storage, trucking, asphalt. Basically, we have literally tools for everything.
Whatever puts off a temperature.
Well, you look at their website
temperature
right
and
now,
humidity.
And it's just like there's 2 huge lines of what they do, and there's just 15 different categories you can choose from.
Yes.
More than that even.
Yeah.
So sous vide, baking, frying, candy, brewing, calibration, pH, humidity, like you said, data logging, infrareds, dude, on and on and on. So even if you are in, because a lot of people who cook, professionally, sometimes you're in a restaurant, sometimes you need some of this stuff. Sometimes you need the humidity for a lot of different stuff. Heck, let me look at this real quick. Cigars.
Yes, we have quite a few people that will use use the humidity meters in their humidors. We also have people that will use them in their cheese making caves.
That's what I was about to say, is cheese making caves.
We're big in the cheese making world.
My wife won't let me do it.
Oh, that's too bad.
She's afraid. Anyway, so cool. Let's move on down the road. Here, what else do we have?
So the other thing I brought, I know you guys have, is the SmokeX 4. Mainly because it's one of our newest ones. It came out last year. Came out this year.
March.
Yeah.
It just seems like
so
it was 2
long
years
ago.
To be exact. It was our last event that we attended, honestly.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I missed that event. I had planned on being there, and it just didn't work out.
That was a great event.
I hear it was a great party.
It was super fun.
So we'd like to do it again.
Please do.
Yeah.
So SmokeX 4 will control billows. It also has the receiver that pairs with it, and has the 6,562 feet transmission range, which means that you will get your temperatures no matter where you are in your house. So, and that's actually a money back guarantee. If you don't get the temperatures throughout your entire house, send it back to us and we'll give you your money back.
And in fact, I'm a smoke fan. I love the SmokeX. I'll get to that in a minute. But when I'm using something, I use the smoke. It's when I'm on the competition trail, that's what I use.
Old school.
Old school because I like the battery. I don't like the having to plug it in bit. But when I'm at home, I have to use the SmokeX because Anthony, we've been down here several times, and what do we have sitting right here?
Yep, we're
Because
cooking.
our SmokeX,
Yep.
we're cooking. So I have to have that because my smoke won't come down here. It won't go through these walls. I mean, yes,
Yep.
we're down in my basement at my house, and my cookers are literally X, Y, and Z a few steps over that way, but they're in concrete, so it won't come through. So I have to have my SmokeX. So at home, I exclusively use that for home. I do use it on the competition trail as well, because we actually got a Green Mountain Grill for that, and I can plug in my SmokeX to it, so I don't have to worry about that. So it worked. I use SmokeX and smoke in competitions, but that's because we probe all of our meats. So we have to use a little bit more than just the 2 probes. So it helps out. But at home, the SmokeX 4 and what's a couple other features, such as when the alarm goes off, you can turn it off on your little remote instead of having to go outside and do it.
They silence each other, which was a feature that was not initially in Smoke. So we, again, listened to customer feedback and did what we could to make them better.
It's because we'd fall asleep and the neighbors would call us, hey, you have an alarm going off. And we have to get out of our bed and go turn off the alarm.
Yep.
So now we don't have to do that. We can
Last night, I had my SmokeX in my brisket last night, sitting on the Yoder, and I had my SmokeX in it with it next to my thing, and I knew if it went off, which it didn't, I could just click it and call it a day.
Done.
Well, actually, if it was going off, I'd probably have to wake up. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that means you have to do something rapid.
But
Or
you can look up and look at it and see if it's going up or down, and sometimes it fixes itself, and you just turn it off. So, but it's amazing. What else are kind of some other features that it has?
The main difference on the SmokeX, or from Smoke to SmokeX 4, is the 4 channels. So it has 4 channels as opposed to Smoke that only has 2. And SmokeX will control billows, which Smoke does not.
Yep.
So,
Which is huge.
Huge.
yes.
Let's talk about the billows since it's.
And I have one of those.
Yeah.
And we have also these are also brand new. They are not out yet, but we have different adapter plates for billows. So it will make it more compatible with the many different types of smokers that are out there.
Do you have one for a gateway drum smoker?
How about a Salt City drum smoker?
Yes. The universal one should actually fit on that.
Oh, that's
so
great.
we have a couple of different ball valve sizes. We have a universal adapter. We have the mounting plates, which are great for the Komodo styles. And these will all be out within the next, again, same kind of time frame as the probe spools. So.
And that's going to be great because if I right now don't use billows for it, but I've been trying to, because I've been trying to figure out how I would use them, because it's less cumbersome with a billows than it is the product that I use. Because instead of having all these things plugged into it, I just have the one and I can connect it. They don't have to be connected.
Right.
So I can have my SmokeX way over here, my billows way over here, and it's controlling it. So I don't have to have 3 or 4 cords coming out and it looks like a mess when I have it all put together.
It's like a time bomb.
Yeah, but I have a billows and I have it on other things, and it's nice because I just plug it in, and here I have my SmokeX over here, and I just have to plug it in, and that's it.
Done.
And I'm done. So there's no 4 or 5 wires spread out. Looks like I'm like, funny joke there. Insert funny joke there. Couldn't come up with it on time.
Right.
Anyway, but it's a great product. The billows is amazing. And I'm really excited for this because I've been wanting to switch to billows exclusively for so long. So
Perfect.
I'm in transition right now. But I use another company. We're not going to bring it up because you're in the room. So, but
I appreciate that.
but I'm transitioning into it because I have something that you don't have on the table. I have the signals.
I have signals too.
Oh, do you? Oh, she's like, wait a second.
I have a signals.
Oh, grab it.
It's still in the bag.
Grab it. Well, I guess she does. I thought she didn't bring it. Boom. There it is.
I have a signals too.
So what's the difference between a signals and the SmokeX?
The main difference between the two is the capability. So signals will communicate via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, which then means it will connect to our Thermoworks app so that you can make changes to everything remotely.
Nice. Yeah, I love it. My Traeger is connected to my Wi-Fi, so is the signal, and I can literally go anywhere and control either unit through my phone. The Thermoworks app is super easy to use. The Traeger app is super easy to use too. So you don't even need to be home. You can literally cook you can be in Egypt and cook a brisket for your kids while you're on vacation.
As long as you have internet access.
Yep. And all they have to do is throw the brisket in there, put a probe in, and you're done. You can cook it for them.
Hey, kids. Yeah, this is your dad. I'm in Egypt. Can you just throw a brisket on real quick?
Yeah. I'll cook you dinner.
Don't forget to put the signals in it.
Yeah.
Because since I'm in Egypt, I can now. But so the signals, it's kind of the one I use at home as well. I do not use this one on the competition trail at all. It's simply for home. And this is when I want to, let's say I'm trying to come up with a menu for the food truck and I have to dial in a certain kind of temperature, or even if I'm trying to get consistency and I want to log that, this is the best way to do it because I can log into the Thermoworks app and it tracks all of that. And I can jot that down and keep that information when I need it.
Yes, it'll give you notes. There's a section in the app where you can write down all the notes. So if you did something specific that day, if you can note the outside temperature, you can note when you pulled it, you can note when it's, when you wrapped it. It'll have, when you have it plugged into Billows, it will actually show you your set temp on the graph on Thermoworks Cloud. So we always recommend looking at your graphs there because you can do so much more with the information on Thermoworks Cloud. You can do a lot in the app, but you can do a lot more. And most of the information will transfer over. So you can enter notes in the app. They will show up on the cloud and vice versa. If you enter it in on the cloud, it will show you on the app.
Full disclosure, I just thought about this. When I wanted to just make sure that you guys know, when I'm on the competition trail before, we didn't use these because we didn't have power. That was a big thing for us. We were you guys have heard on the podcast before, we don't use power. Now that I have Lion Energy.
Nice plug.
Now, there you go. Huh? And now that I have a trailer, which we have power to, I now can use the SmokeX for. And now I can start using the signals a little bit more. And now what I was talking with the guys about is using the signals to start doing it on our actual cooks. Cause that's really one you want to know, because when we're up at 9,000 feet competing, I want to know, I don't know the temperature of how it's performing. I know what it performs at 48 where I'm at, but I want to know what it performs at 9,000. Or when I go to California, I want to know what it performs at in California, like at 100. How is it? Is it up and downing? Is it steadily going up? How slow? So these are cool things that you can use in the competition trail, specifically the signals that you can mark and have data for, and then use and go back and study. Now that I have power. And you can do it without power, but I get super sketched. It's going to die. It won't, because it has a very long battery life, but it's something that I just get worried about. But now that I have power, it's easy for me just to plug it in as it's cooking. So that's a really good tip to have too.
Speaking of which, here we go. Here comes a tech question. Calling it in. So I was on location like a couple of weeks ago, I should say, doing an outdoor cook. I had my signals with me. I plugged it into my Lion Energy via USB, plugged it in, did an all-day cook, and then I unplugged it and the battery was still dead. Did it not charge my battery? What's going on? Is it broke?
Was it just the USB cable, or did you use the power adapter that came with your signals?
I just went from the signal, the C, into the USB, like 5 amps out of the Lion Energy.
So signals does require 12 volts. So if you don't use the power adapter that come with it, it will not charge your internal battery. So if you're using an external power source, it will keep it powered, but it will not charge that battery.
User error then.
Definite user error.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't go on Facebook and ask that.
I would have answered you there as well.
I actually learned that because
answer.
I plugged it into my wall and it wouldn't charge. I was like, what the heck? And then plugged it in outside. Sure enough, when it was all done, I was like, oh.
You use the right stuff and it works.
Yeah, use it how you're supposed to.
Read the instructions.
If you read the manual, the information is there.
Again, if you guys are out there cooking competitions, a lot of people say Thermopin, and I agree, but the SmokeX, Smoke, or Signals is, man, it's the closest second there is. Because a lot of people out there, including myself, will tell you not to probe your meat and look for temperature. It's about the feel. But a lot of things happen in a competition. So what we'll do is I will put my SmokeX and I will probe my pork and I'll probe my brisket and I'll probe my ribs and I'll set a certain temperature to when I want to start probing it. So for example, if we're at 4,500 feet, which we normally are, I can probe my brisket. We set the timer for the alarm for 2:02. And once it starts beeping, now I can probe for tenderness.
Right.
That's what I use it for. So I'm using the best of both worlds. I'm not letting it get away from me. I'm not just guessing. I'm not stabbing it 45 times. I'm letting it at 2:02 where I know it's not going to get done yet. I know it never has yet. And then I'll start probing from there. So it's a really good tool to have.
And then that way you're not opening up your smoker, because if you're looking,
you're not cooking.
There you go.
Right now I'm not cooking because I'm looking at everyone.
Right.
My jokes are terrible today. I would like to formally apologize to everyone listening to this podcast. Man, dad joke.
Fail.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah.
Anyway,
step your game up, Rusty.
You know, it's the Thermopin, it's the SmokeX. You hear a lot of bravado out there going, "Oh, I don't need one of those." You know, you do, because unless you're like super focused in on your comp, anything can get away with you. It get away from you. The last thing you need to do is that you let your meat get away from you. And this is something that helps, because trust me, there's been 100 times where I want to be on it still, and all of a sudden you're oh crap. Okay, and I would have completely overcooked it.
Right.
So.
That's
Example, you could be watching the football game, 3 seconds left on the clock. The Saints have to kick a field goal and his alarm's going off. At least he knows that he's overcooking.
And that meat is overcooked.
At least he knows he's overcooking.
So.
Well, that is why everything works so well together. You've got the leave-in monitors that will get you up to the point to where you're close to where you want to be. And then the Thermopin helps you finish it out. Or the Dash, or the Dash Mini.
The Dash Mini. And that's the thing, is that my Thermopin, I use it all the time, but in competitions, to be honest, I just use it as a tender probe. I mean, that's all I really use it for. At home, I'm using it constantly for everything. But of course, I want to check the temperature. I'm not trying to say that, but I do. I'm like, okay, we're 205, 206, whatever. But I'm mostly just testing for that probe, that tenderness. And I love Chris Marks, who's a famous cook. He likes to do the hold in the air and drops his Thermopin down into the meat.
Oh.
It's done.
So, if it goes all the way through, or does it tell me about this?
It just sticks.
Just like a dart.
Yeah, it just goes through really easy and just sticks. So instead of just sticking and going falling over, or sticking just a little bit, it goes all the way through and just sticks.
Nice.
The tech support agent in me just shivers.
And you just ruined the tip.
You just ruined the tip. Speaking of the tip, let's talk about the tip of the probes. Oh, that kind of sounds weird, but there is the feature of all your products here of the probes. A lot of people always probe way too deep and going out the backside because they feel like the whole probe has to be in there.
Yes.
I was guilty of this, by the way. I have to admit.
No, I'm glad to hear you've learned the error of your ways. The sensor on all of our probes is right at the very tip. On the Thermopin, it's 1/8 of an inch in. Mm-hmm. So it's very close to that probe tip. And it's basically so that you can get that right into what we call the thermal center. So obviously, as you cook, there are different thermal gradients. Things are going to cook faster than other areas. This is especially prevalent in large chunks of meat. You'll find, one section cooks closer, especially if you're cooking bone in. Obviously, that bone is going to affect the meat and how it cooks. So we try to get that sensor down as far in that tube as we can, so that you just need to put that in that thermal center. So when people start using a Thermopin or a leave-in probe thermometer or something like that for the first time, a lot of times they don't know how to use it. They don't know what to do. So that's one of the biggest questions that our tech support handles is, well, how do I know the temperature I'm getting is actually what the temperature is? And so we just explain to them, usually, especially on a steak or on a chicken breast or something like that, we start recommending going all the way through and then just slowly backing back out. Because as you do that, you'll see the different temperature gradients as they go through. Once you've hit that coolest section, that's the center, that's the thermal center of the meat, and that's the temperature that you need to cook for doneness. Yeah,
great tip. The thing, and I didn't know that before because I was putting it all through. I thought the whole thing was temperature, right. So I wanted to get mostly the whole probe in there. Now, especially with steak, it's so nice because it just kind of just put it in just a little bit, and everything's fine. You don't have to try to throw it through the whole thing, or the pork butt even. Another thing is make sure that your probes, the SmokeX comes with a long bent probe. You want to look at, especially in the competition scene, when I'm using barrels, I can't use that because of what we just talked about. I can't put that probe all the way in. So it just sticks in a little bit on certain things and I can't close my lid. So be cognizant of the probes that you have too for competitions, and are they going to fit, if you're inserting them properly and they're not going to break or smash or, mess up your meat. So that's another important thing to consider.
That is also why we have quite a few different styles of those Pro Series probes. We have a short one that's 4 inches. We have the 6-inch right angle probe. We even have a small 2.5-inch probe. Mm-hmm. So basically we even have a needle probe. So it's the smaller diameter that's great to stick in between ribs or fish or those lighter, flakier kind of things.
We'll use ours for chicken.
For chicken, it works great for chicken too. Or sous vide. Technically, it's a needle probe, so you can put it in a sous vide bath. It is waterproof. So we do have quite a few different styles of those different Pro Series probes, which actually brings me to the other things I brought.
Yeah, let's see. This is something new I haven't seen before.
Yes, these are actually brand new. They, again, have not been released yet.
Oh.
So they are thermocouple probes.
Can we start saying exclusive?
Exclusive. Yes, you can. So
Well, this
you
is
can
one
tell
of
the connector is different. This
Right.
is a thermocouple mini connector is what that is.
Oh, this thing is so cool. Hold
Yeah.
this.
Well,
I'm in love
he's
with
talking
these.
about the probe winder.
Oh
What is
my
the
gosh.
technical name of this?
Probe spool.
Probe spool.
Probe spool.
Spool.
So with thermocouples, now our Pro Series line of products, which is what comes with SmokeX, Smoke, Signals, Dot, Blue Dot. That's our Pro Series line. Those use what is called a thermistor sensor.
Mhm.
Thermocouples use a thermocouple sensor, and they measure millivolts, whereas thermistors measure resistance. So in a Thermopin, it is a thermocouple sensor.
Okay.
So we now have a brand new line. We're calling them our Q series thermocouple probes. So they are higher temperature. They will look a lot like the Pro Series probes. So that is a air probe for our Pro Series probe. It's about the same. It's the exact same diameter, same length for our thermocouple probes. So we're starting to standardize this line so that whether you're using thermocouples or whether you're using our Pro Series line,
You can use both.
you're used to seeing the same thing now.
Oh, cool.
And
And
that
these just feel heavier duty.
Yeah, they do.
They just feel heavier. They feel nicer. And you know, this one doesn't have the plastic part on it. It's a spring.
Spring, yep.
yes.
Um,
Now the nice thing about thermocouples is they will last longer.
okay.
They are more durable, so they're not as sensitive to mechanical shock like a thermistor sensor is.
Okay.
And it will last, if well taken care of, it will last a little bit longer. I mean, at the end of the day, all probes are consumables. It's like brake pads on your car.
Mhm.
They're wear and tear. They're going to go out eventually, and you will have to replace them. It's just how well you take care of them in the meantime that determines how long they last.
Dude, I'm about to buy 1,000 of these freaking probe holders. Spool. I
Probe
can't get
spool.
over it. But these probes this is the
Yeah.
one I would put into my pit to do the temperature for my cooker.
Yep.
And then okay.
Check
And
this out right
and
here.
This cord is very, very.
There you go.
Am I wrong? Is this cord just a little bit more durable?
It's the braided cord, right?
Yes.
Is it the same?
It's a stainless steel overbraid. And it's a PTFE cable underneath.
I don't understand
That's
that
what I was
word.
going to say. I was going to guess. I was going to guess that.
The PTFE is what gives it its waterproof. So it will actually last a little bit longer in water. And then it also protects it from heat.
Nice. So
Man, these are
what kind of
slick.
heat are we talking about with these? Like, are we talking like 1,000 degrees or what?
Now, it does depend on the thermocouple. So we have literally thousands of thermocouple probes. We have thermocouple probes that will go up to 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
That's pretty warm.
Yes. And we have a lot that most of our main range is up to 482 degrees Fahrenheit. We have some that will go up to 662. So really it just depends on exactly what you need. So
You should call one the Mordor. And that would be so cool. I just want to throw that out officially because that would be so sick.
Rusty, can you
Have
do
you
a
seen
hot and
that
fast?
meme?
Can you do a hot and fast brisket at 2,500 degrees?
Hell yeah. Have you seen that meme? Like I'm
it's
not
called
saying
charcoal.
I'm not saying it's hot outside, but two hobbits just try to throw a ring in my backyard.
I don't get it.
It's funny. Anyway,
Just joking.
moving on. Sorry, barbecue world. I'm talking about nerd stuff.
So what is this? She has a handheld here that those obviously plug into. Let's
Yes.
talk about this.
So
This is
let me back up just so I understand. So
Rewind.
eventually, this is going to be the standard. Is that right? Is that what you're trying to go for?
We actually already have these. So in fact, if you look at most restaurants, what they will use are
That's
thermocouple
what I
meters.
recognize them from. Yeah.
So they'll have that mini connector, and that should look familiar.
Are you going to put these on a SmokeX?
We are not, because it's basically two different lines.
Gotcha.
So really, if you're looking for the best of the best,
Mhm.
you want a thermocouple.
so everything we talked
Cool.
about out. We're going in.
Yep. New product.
Now, they're all good. Everything is good. But if you want the extreme durability and the basically as rugged as you can get, you want a thermocouple.
That's what I need.
So if I want to do something on my like pizza oven, that's the route I should go anyways.
Yes. A pizza oven that one of the guys that work on our marketing team has actually built a pizza oven in his backyard.
Nice.
So, and he hardwired the probe in, thermocouples, of course, and just leaves the meter on the outside.
Wow. There we go. Done. SmokeX, you're out.
Again, they're all still good.
She loves all of her babies.
I love all of them. They all have a special place.
Let's
for
go
me.
to the feature of
I
this.
figured I've been trying. If you guys haven't noticed me over here in the corner, trying to figure out how the hell to put this thing back.
You're getting your
I
ass
done
kicked
just
by that
figured it
spool.
out.
You got
There's
your
I
ass
wrote the
kicked.
directions.
Listen, I don't need directions.
Rusty's calling in the customer service. How do I put the coupler in the spool?
RTFM. Always.
I broke my drink holder on my computer.
And you open the window and let the Wi-Fi particles out.
That's right. Oh, this
Wow.
is cool, man. This probe spool. This is what's up. Okay, moving on. Sorry.
Okay. So the Thermocouple probes, Q series, the brand new ones, will actually work with our brand new Therma Q2. So this is, you can actually pre-order. It is available on our website right now. But it is a thermocouple meter. It is 4 channels and it will run billows.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there's a win. There is a win.
So
yeah, pass that one over.
It's simple. There's 6 buttons,
Yes.
Rusty. You should be able to
that's
figure
all
this
it
out.
is. It's 6 buttons. You just use the buttons
That's
to set
4
your temperature.
more.
It has the open lid detection built in like Signals does. So if you open your lid, it will turn off, will stop blowing billows until the temperature recovers.
How do you? Oh, there you go. I was gonna say, how do you charge it?
USB-C.
Look at it, perfect right there.
Nice, man.
Now this actually runs off of batteries,
Oh,
and the only time you need to plug it in is when you are running billows.
Oh, so you don't need the power source.
No, you will if you're running billows.
Okay.
You will need the power source, but only if you're running billows.
Okay. Dope.
This is way cool. This is like simpler than a SmokeX.
Yes.
I mean, as far as
You can
buttons
go ahead
go.
and plug the probes in and
Yeah.
it'll
Is that-
rotate between channels 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
There it is.
Cool. See how hot I am right now. Oh shit! I broke it. Just kidding.
That'd be bad.
This is cool. Wow.
Yeah.
And so can I set an alarm on this and everything?
Yes.
Low
You can
and,
set the
low
alarm
and high, same
and
thing.
low. It
Yeah.
will show max, min, and high and low.
Max right
all
now is
on the display.
649. So it'll. So I'm assuming I can get a higher temp one of these, and it automatically read the maximum of this probe.
No, the max min will show you the temperature, the max and min temperatures that were reached during that recording cycle, basically.
Oh, okay.
So we have been doing some testing on it, so you can see how hot we have gotten it.
Max is 925.
We have taken it up very high. In fact, we were looking to control pizza ovens and doing some testing on that.
Something I'm noticing when I'm plugging this in, it's a bit to get out. It's not hard at all, but it's not going to just pop out on you. Like maybe
No.
if you SmokeX might if you bump it. Like if I was to bump this, it ain't coming out.
Right. That's
So-
pretty badass.
It will come with a magnetic boot,
Oh, cool.
so that
So
will
you can
help.
put it in and just stick it on the side
Yep.
of something.
Yep.
Not to your smoker.
Right next to your probe spools.
Yep.
Right next to my post. We'll see. Let's see if it'll fit on my mic stand.
Well, she doesn't have the boot.
Boot is not on it right now.
She said it comes with a boot.
I know what she said.
It will come in a zipper wallet with a magnetic boot.
Oh, nice. It comes with its own little case.
Yes.
Perfect.
And this thing feels pretty sturdy too. The Therma Q2 itself feels sturdy. It's super simple. Looks like it's really easy to set up and pretty basic. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm just grabbing it and it's just like a Thermopin. Just shoots right where it needs to be within seconds. This is cool, man.
It's got the IP67 rated housing.
Yeah, that's why. I love those.
What does that mean?
Basically, that means it's waterproof to IP67. So totally protected against dust, protected against immersion up to 3.5 feet of water at room temperature.
Cool.
There you go. Rusty knew what that meant.
I did. Yeah, it's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
It's like I get one once a year.
I have a thing with IP ratings.
Like
It's a love-hate relationship.
everyone knows me knows about my IP ratings. So Yeah, this is really cool too. So this could be used for basically anything. If you want to do it in the home,
Yes.
obviously the SmokeX and stuff is too, but these have specific things for the people who smoke meat outside. You have what is that called again? I'm sorry. Where you hold the thing we'd bring in, we'd have in here if it was cooking up
The receiver?
Receiver.
Thank you. The receiver. You have the receiver where this doesn't have a receiver. So this is specifically, I mean, this would be a little bit more of a challenge if you're doing a barbecue, but if you had a pizza oven, if you had in your house,
Yes.
doing stuff like that, this would be awesome to have.
Yes. And it has a 100 decibel rating alarm. So you will be able to hear it throughout the house. It might annoy the neighbors, but
That's fine.
everybody will know when dinner's ready.
So does my rock and roll. So this is really cool. I like this a lot. And I really like these connectors too, because it's just, like I said, pulling it out isn't easy, but it's not hard either. So you don't have to worry. I would feel like even if it dropped,
Yes.
it still would stay in.
They will survive the drops.
Yeah,
It's
but even this wouldn't pop off.
And the probes won't unplug. And we have beveled the top. Some of them don't have the bevels, and then you can't get the probes out because you can't actually grip them to remove them. So we've beveled that top so that all 4 probes in there, it's easy to remove, even if you're using all 4.
Cool. I dig this. And if it works for bellows, even better. Because there's a smokehouse that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You want to build, and something like this would be freaking phenomenal for it. It'd be great to just put in there and have these. It'd be really cool, and run billows on it, which we'll be talking about down the road with someone who builds those things. So
yeah,
that would be cool to bring that back up and see if that works.
Wow. Okay. So those are pre-order right now?
Yes, they are available on the website. They are pre-order.
Wow.
Should be shipping the end of October.
Nice.
Yeah, those are super sweet. I'm going to have to get one, of course.
Yep.
And they do have a 4-probe and a 2-probe kit.
Okay.
So the kit prices will actually get you the probes and save you money.
So the one I was playing with there has 4-probe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it actually will come with 4 probes.
Gotcha.
So the kit, It will come with 4 probes. It'll be just like the signals. It will come with 4 or 3 of the right angle probes and then 1 air probe. And then the 2-probe kit has 1 right angle probe and 1 air probe.
Couple things you didn't bring that I want to bring up that I am a big fan of is the dot. That is such a cool thing to have. A lot of people ask me, well, do I get, this? I'm like, if you don't want to go out and get the SmokeX right now, which you will eventually, so just consider that. Grab a dot or 2. Those things are amazing. They're small, they're durable. I mean, like I said, I've left those out and they keep on ticking. They just keep going. And then we don't suggest that, of course. We don't suggest it's sitting out on your smoker for 7 days.
As part of product development and a lot of tech support, we have done a lot of testing on these meters. Yeah. So I can guarantee you they've been put through the ringer before they make it out.
I've melted mine. I've dropped mine. I've left it in the sun. It's gotten wet. It still works. It's great. So I would highly suggest dots. But just know when you get a dot, it's cool, but man, you're going to want to get one of these SmokeX 4s eventually. So might as well just pull the plug if you can now. If you're on the fence, go ahead and do it. Again, the Thermopin Mark IV is awesome. A couple other things I want to point out for SCA guys. If you're looking to get something, you have to have their infrared, the IR4. Is that what it's called?
We have quite a few different models.
The yellow one.
The yellow one. They're all yellow, aren't they?
There are a few that are yellow.
Are they really?
Yes.
What?
You are
Guys
probably
have
thinking
everything.
of the IR Gun S.
Yes, I am. I just pulled it up and it is that.
Yes.
So the IR Gun S is something you guys want to get for SCA cooks. Everyone, you have to have that one.
Yep.
That one's super awesome. Also, the alarm timer. So here's the thing. I want to actually bring this up.
The time stick?
I want to bring this up. So there's 2 kinds that I use. I use the time stick and I use the big I'm going to pull it up. Hold on.
Time stack.
Time stack. Thank you. The time stick and the time stack. I have them right here. So the time stack is what I started using and I loved it. And it's cool because when you're in the competition, you can record your voice. So there was one that said turn the ribs. So we would have one for that. But then I watched Shauna Rapolo and she uses a time stick for her steak. And I liked it, but mine swung into, because it was on my neck and it was super nice. So I've actually gone back to the time stack. So any one of those, but then Jared comes over and gets the freaking time stick trio. And that thing is awesome. So if you guys are looking for timers for SCA, get that IRS Huh?
IR gun S.
Yeah, don't Google that. Time stack, and then also you want to get, there's an extra big one too, loud timer, but get the time stack itself. It has 4 different ones you can program. You can record your voice if you want to. There's a who's Christopher Kimball? Signature timer? We're going to move on from that. Time stick trio is a really cool one. I actually really, really liked it, but just a time stick, if you guys want to get one, is super cool. It's only $25. It'll save your butt at an SCA. Trust me. But I would spend up and get the time stick. Those are a couple of things that we haven't talked about today that I use. Anything you use, Anthony, that we haven't talked about?
No, what I've seen on the website, though, that's really cool is, speaking of IR guns, they have one that has a thermocoupler in it, right?
Yes. Yeah. We have a couple of different models that will actually allow you to plug in a thermocouple probe. So we have the IR-K2, which is another infrared. It goes a little bit higher in temperature than the IR gun S does, and it also has a different laser style. So helps with targeting.
So like if the
don't Google this.
If the S one is like Darth Vader, then the other one's kind of like Luke Skywalker, kind of like, is that the laser you're talking about?
Yeah, a little bit. So the IR gun S has a single targeting laser, while the IR-K2 actually has a circle target, so that it gives you more of an, you can look and see exactly where you're taking the temperature of. Because that's one thing that's very important to remember with infrareds, is it is just telling you the surface temperature. And if you don't know what you're shooting at, you don't know what you're actually taking the temperature of.
Yeah.
So.
And it's cool. We've been into the facility where they do all the testing, and they showed us how they make sure everything works, and they temp and they do this and they test and they test and they test. And it's cool, man.
Yes.
Right.
We have an
Super
A2LA
detailed.
accredited calibration lab.
Did you know there's a certain way to use the IR guns? When we're at Thermoworks at the state competition, I was over there trying to get a temp. Amanda comes along and grabs my wrist and says, like this, explain to people how to use them properly, because she busted me like 3 times. 3 times she yelled at me. She's like, no, don't do it. Like, I'm like,
It has to be perpendicular. It's a 12-to-1 spot size. So at 12 inches away, you're getting a 1-inch diameter section of where you're taking the temperature. So if you're angled at all, you've skewed that circle. So you're now taking more of an oval instead of that circle. So you're getting a different temperature gradient than you would otherwise. You should always be shooting straight perpendicular.
So straight down. So if I'm above my PK.
Or straight out.
I'm straight down. I got to get over that bad boy and get right after.
burn your knuckles.
Yep.
Well, you can go above it.
You're 12 inches away. So I'm hoping you're not burning your knuckles.
So just if you're burning your knuckles, I hope you're doing a practice stake, because you're about to find out how badly you're about to do. However, that's actually good to know, because I have always done it the way you told me said not to.
Yes.
Never have I once done it right. So I wonder if that's going to change the game for me.
You're going to start winning now.
Oh, wow.
One day.
Wow.
Anything I could get. We're actually just talking to Jerry, and he wants to do a class with me on SEA on all the things not to do at SES. So I think it would sell out.
It probably would.
So real quick, just kind of wrap. Is there anything else product wise you'd like to talk about? You'd like the plug coming out that you love that we haven't talked about yet?
I think we've covered pretty much everything new, the things that are coming out through the rest of the year. And then all the things that are, my favorites.
Nice. And you guys do have stuff that will protect all this stuff too, right?
Yes,
cases and
we
sleeves.
do. We have a lot of cases. We have protective wallets. We have large Pelican cases with the pick and pull foam, so that you can get them custom to exactly what equipment you have.
Perfect.
I've got a briefcase that I have all my stuff in. I've got 5 different things that cases that I put them in. It's
a problem, guys.
I have a problem. But then I come to do this and I don't even have half this stuff.
Right? We're at the start of the show. You're like, show me something that we don't have.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, cool. And then, so what I want to talk about now, is just kind of what we talked about just then. Like, you worked in tech for so long. Let's talk about a couple of the top questions that you get. Maybe we can just get out of the way here and maybe save you guys some phone calls.
That's always nice. We always like to.
What are your favorite days?
Phone calls.
I'm just going to take a guess. We're going to talk Thanksgiving and Christmas. I bet you guys get a lot of phone calls.
Yes. Yes, very much. Black Friday is our busiest day in tech support ever. So pretty much guaranteed.
Let's talk about that one question that probably comes in 1,000 times that day. What is that question?
A lot of it is it's not accurate. So then we explain to them how to use it. Kind of what we went over earlier with the,
IR gun?
go. Yeah. No. But yes.
To insert the probe and then pull it out.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
To go
Oh.
all the way through and then slowly back it out so that you
Right.
can see all the different temperature gradients. We walk people through a lot of ice bath tests. So if you don't know what an ice bath test is, or you don't know how to do one, look it up on our website. We have a video that'll walk you through it. That is the quickest and easiest way to guarantee the accuracy of any thermometer, not even just a Thermoworks product, but any thermometer will be accurate in a properly made ice bath test.
Yeah, ice baths will also wake you up.
Yes.
Again, terrible bad joke. I'm sorry, everyone. Man, I'm going to shut up for the rest of the episode. Okay, continue on. So let's talk about what are other things that you can help with the people that when they call in, what some we can like nip in the bud right now.
We also recommend checking your thermometers prior to these big holidays. So, you want to be prepared. You want to make sure you have everything you need. Everything works the way you want it to. And I mean, it's a big day. It's a big holiday. Everybody has family coming over, and it's honestly a lot of time for people to just show off.
Right.
And if it doesn't work out, that doesn't end well.
Right.
So check your thermometers before the big day. Keep spare probes on hand for all of your equipment because, as you know, it's still temperature at the end of the day. Bad things, accidents happen. So if you have a backup probe, if something goes wrong, you just swap it out and you just keep going.
Perfect.
Holidays are coming up though. So what is a lot of the most common things maybe that someone doesn't have that they should probably get on now before it all pops off?
Candy making obviously is really big throughout the holidays. So we always recommend the Thermopin Mark IV for that, especially for chocolate and things like that, because you don't want to introduce contaminants. So you don't want to necessarily want to leave a leave-in probe thermometer in those because that can cause crystallization.
Mhm.
And that's a bad thing.
It is. Also like, timers, stuff like that would come into play. Time stick. I use the time stack at home a lot for those kind of things too.
Funny story. I have teenagers. And so my favorite thing to do with my time stack is leave it under their bed to go off at 3 a.m. and make them try to find it on the night that they kept me up all night the night before.
Oh, man.
And it's usually my voice saying, "Ooh, it's a ghost."
Oh, man. That's awesome.
That's my little bit of revenge.
Oh man, I need to do that. If my kids weren't so young, I would, and they're not just terrified of everything right now. You know how it is, but that's definitely something I need to do.
Yeah. Teenage boys, man. You do what you can to get back at them.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, cool. Anything else that you can bring up that might help the people?
Our silicone products. If you haven't checked out any of our silicone products, I recommend that. We have the trivets, which are up to 600 degrees. The brushes, the spatulas. I use those spatulas and spoonulas for absolutely everything.
Same.
Toss the whole thing in the dishwasher, call it good. In fact, we also
have
have
one.
well, I have a smaller brush that is coming out
Oh, really?
also this year.
Oh, cool.
It's in the bag, Rusty. Look.
Is that green one? Oh, cool. Let me see that.
Oh, look at that.
So it's
look
our
at
big
this.
brush is great for
is, but it's
large
large.
meats and ribs, things like that, where you've got to cover a lot of surface area. This will be better for wings or butter basting, things like that. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to use, but will still hold the same amount of sauce.
And what's cool about this is that when the handle connects to the brush itself, it doesn't disconnect. So a lot of problems I have with that is that when you have a brush you use often, it'll just pop off when you're trying to do something. Also, there's silicone the whole route all around. So it's super nice. They have something you can hang on, and it's smaller. The one you're talking about is big too.
Yes.
One thing I like to talk about though is those spatulas, and we got one for free way back when, and we won it. And it's an itty bitty little spatula. I use that dang thing. There's like 2 of them.
Yes.
And I use that thing over everything. It's got a little, it's almost like a spoon a little bit, not totally bad, but perfect for stirring things. And it's got the silicone. It's completely silicone.
Yep. That's our mini set. So it does have a spatula and a spoonula. It's great for jars, getting into the bottom of those jars that you can't ever get everything
And I have
out of anyway.
I have a big one too. I have, these are actually, I'm glad you brought that up because these are super cool. I use them all the time. They've now replaced, because they've outlasted all my spatulas and all of my brushes. So I haven't had the trivets yet. Maybe I'll go buy some of those. But
I wholeheartedly recommend the trivets. In fact, my mom says it saved her house because she left it on her burner, turned her burner on, and if it was a regular hot pad, it would have burned the house down.
Another thing is I have granite countertops, and if you put hot stuff on it, it will crack them.
Yep.
So if you're not careful, you gotta be careful with that because if it gets too hot on there, then it can crack. So you put one of those trivets down and it should help a lot.
So we have the round ones. And then we also have those large 9x12 ones, which are actually my favorite because you can put everything on them.
You can also buy books.
Yes. Yep, we do. We have books. We have aprons.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually love the aprons that we have.
An ice bath mug. So if you guys are looking to constantly check your Mark IV, you can use your ice bath mug.
And the steps are printed directly on it, so you can't get confused or do it wrong.
And I will, for some reason, not see those and not do it right. So I'm that guy.
So another tech support story. I actually had somebody call in and ask me how to use their ice bath mug.
Oh.
Wow. Did you tell them to turn it around and read?
I pretty much just read them the ice bath mug.
Wow.
Step one. Add ice.
And you can follow along on the side of your mug that you have with you.
So it's tech support.
So another thing, guys, you can do, I highly recommend if you're thinking to yourself, the holidays are coming up, you want to buy something for them and you don't know what, because there's so much, get a gift card from Thermoworks for someone, and they can go in and buy, or go online and buy whatever they want,
yes.
Because there's so many different things and you never know which one it is. So don't guess, get a gift card, let them make up their own decision, their own mind. Also, you guys do have a physical store you can go to in American Fork, Utah, if you're local.
Yep.
And you can shop.
Yep,
and
open Monday through Friday.
I'm telling you, people, I hate to say this in front of Amanda. Don't go in with money. Go in with a pocket, like a notebook, and write down the stuff you want, and then come back and you know what? It doesn't matter, because if you come back, you'll still buy everything. But they have everything in there. They have books in there. They have everything we've talked about here, except for the stuff hasn't been released yet, in that store, or they have it there, including some of the cases.
Yep. It's a good opportunity to go in and look at it and actually get your hands on it.
Yep.
Plus, we have many colors of almost everything. So the hardest part is, which color do you want?
Right. So you guys can go in there too. You can also order online. You can call their tech support. Their tech support is amazing. And just a bunch of good people, man. Thermoworks has taken care of everyone here locally. They're very involved in everything that's happening in Utah, in cooking in general, in barbecue. They're a huge staple in that, and they are always willing to help, and just good people. I cannot talk enough about Thermoworks. Most of you have a Mark IV. God, I love that. I'm going to say Mark IV forever. I can't wait to start saying it. Just like, oh, my Mark IV. You grab that? What's that? My Thermopin. That's the Thermopin MK4? No, it's not.
No.
Mark.
So, it's just cool to have Amanda here, who is an integral part of what they're doing in there, to kind of explain all these items to you guys and have you guys a little bit more of a perspective of A, what's coming out, B, what are some things you're not using. So get online. It's a lot of stuff. They have videos you can watch. Chef Martin, who is freaking, I love that guy. Great cook. Just a good dude. Fun videos. Get on there. There's a lot of cooking videos. Anthony and I have both been on there with the Bring the Heat series.
There you go.
Yep.
I was waiting for you to try to struggle through that one. Yeah.
Renee Oxley Loop's on there. We have a bunch of people on that who cook barbecue and do some really, really good dishes. Check those out on the YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, because there's a lot of cool stuff on there they're coming out with. A lot of cool instructional stuff, how to use the Thermopins, all the stuff that Amanda was talking about. Also, how to cook the food. Martin has a lot of stuff. He has a blog on there.
Yes.
One specific thing I'd like to talk about that Martin did that I've used, and I've told a lot of people out, is he started to butterfly his pork butts when he smoked them. Huge difference. The taste is so good. Cool technique that Martin writes about on there. So go to that blog and check it out. And guys, endless information on there, books, gift cards, everything we've talked about today. Check it out at thermoworks.com and give them a follow on this Instagrams, give them a follow on the Facebooks, give them a follow on probably the Twitters.
Yep. We're on Twitter as well.
On the TikToks.
We are not on the TikToks.
Dang it.
We're gonna just see Amanda and Kyle dancing on videos
No, you're not.
with probes everywhere. Come on.
No.
I'm a savage.
No.
Okay. Well, anyway,
shot.
Amanda, we do appreciate you
Yes,
coming on the
thank you for
show
coming.
and explaining and putting up with me and my dumb jokes.
I do want to mention real quick, you should subscribe to our email list because that is
Yes.
where you will get all of the information first.
Also, they do a drawing once a month for a free Thermopin.
We do. Yep. If you're signed up on our email list, you are registered to win a free Thermopin Mark IV every Monday.
That's right. So that's, every week.
Yes.
Wow, even better.
We do one every week. And then getting closer to the holidays, we will actually draw 3 a week.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's a lot of cool information on that too. So hit that up. Amanda, we appreciate your time.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.